Now, if any of you watched my last video, you'll know that since then I've actually moved house. So this is going to be the new space where I film all my videos, and I'm so excited to really make this kitchen my own. Now, for this week's video tutorial, I really wanted to do a fun video for the first video of 2020. So if you're new to cake decorating or you just want a really pretty cake idea, I'm going to be showing you how to make this rose effect buttercream cake. Okay, let's get started. So in order to make my rose cake, the first thing I've got is my sponge cake. Now this is just a 6-inch cake, and I've baked 2 separate cakes which I've cut into layers of around 1 inch each. Now I will put a link in the description below to the recipe for this cake. I've then got a batch of buttercream. I've used the blue colour splash mixed with a small amount of the jade colour splash to give me this nice blue minty colour. I've then got 2 smaller batches, a pink which I've just used a small amount of raspberry, and a green which I've used the leaf green. Now I'm going to put these two to one side just because we'll be using those for the roses. So the first thing I'm going to do is just separate my cake layers and fill them with my buttercream. Once I've filled the different layers, I can then put a crumb coat around the edge. Now a crumb coat is just to lock in any loose crumbs on the edge of the cake before we put a final layer of buttercream on the outside, which will be the finish of the cake. Now, as well as the vanilla sponge cake recipe, I will also put a link to the recipe for my buttercream. Now, for your crumb coat, you just want a nice thin layer just running around the edge of the cake. You also want to make sure that between your layers, that buttercream is pushed all the way in, so there's not going to be any air gaps between your layers, which will result in some air bubbles popping out. Once that's coated on the outside, I'm then just going to go in with a metal scraper around the edge, smoothing that down and taking off any excess buttercream. Now, when using your scraper around the edge of your cake, you just want to keep the bottom edge against your board so you get nice straight edges. I can then go in with my offset spatula along that top edge, just pulling that buttercream towards the center of the cake. Once we've got our crumb coat, we're just going to pop this into the fridge for around 10 to 15 minutes for that buttercream to firm up so that we can add another layer. Once your cake has come out of the fridge and that buttercream is firm to the touch, I'm going to put on another layer. Now I'm just adding a generous amount around the edge, which I'm going to smooth down. I can then bring back in my scraper, and again just keeping this bottom edge against my board, just take off any excess. And if you've got any areas, just leave a slight gap, you can fill those in. Now, if you're struggling to get smooth edges, what you can do is just bring in a dish of boiling hot water, and I'm just going to place that long edge in the water. Now, this is just heating up the metal scraper, so you can only do this if you're using a metal scraper rather than a plastic scraper. I'm going to take a paper towel and just clean off any excess buttercream and excess water on the surface. You can then run this around the edge, and this just melts that buttercream slightly and gets rid of any imperfections. Now on the top of my cake, take my metal scraper and just pull that in from the edge. So there we have our cake all ready to add our roses to. Now I'm going to pop this in the fridge for around 10 minutes just for that to firm up so that we've got a nice base to pipe onto. Now once your cake has come out of the fridge, I'm going to transfer this onto my cake stand. Now you can just use a cake board if you'd prefer. So lift that cake, gently pop it in the center. I can then prepare my buttercream to create my roses on the top and on the sides. So to create the roses, I've got 2 piping tips. Now this one is just a closed star tip, and I've got a number 34. In some brands it will be called a number 35, and I've also got a 352. Now this one is to create some leaves, and it just has this V cut out of the side. So I'm going to pop these into my piping bags, and with the closed star tip I'm going to add the pink, and with the leaf tip I'm going to go with the green. So I'm just going to cut the end off of my piping bag and just pull that to the bottom to secure it. Just making sure that I push that buttercream right to the end. It's ready to come out of our piping tip. And do exactly the same with the green. First of all, we're going to take the pink with the closed star tip, and I'm going to start in the middle. Now I'm going to have a combination of 3 roses together and single roses on their own. To create one rose, create a small rosette. So starting in the center, I'm going to apply pressure to the bag, work my way out, just doing one rotation. When I'm happy with the size of my rose, I'm going to stop applying pressure and just pull that piping bag just to the edge of my rose. And taking my piping bag with the cutout on the side, I'm just going to apply pressure and create some little leaves around the edge. I'm then going to go ahead and just create some single ones of those roses. So just creating one of the roses and just put in a few little leaves. Just making sure that the leaves go in different directions. I'm going to work my way around the top of that cake. Just first adding in my roses and then just adding in some little leaves. Now I'm going to do exactly the same on the side of the cake. So I'm going to have some clusters of 3 and some single clusters. So I'm just working my way around the cake, just adding in these little rosettes with the leaves. Here we have the finished buttercream rose cake. I really hope you've enjoyed this video and will enjoy making your own version of this cake. If you have enjoyed the video, then don't forget you can head over to the video section of the Cakes by Ninja YouTube channel for more videos like this. You can also subscribe to the Cakes by Ninja YouTube channel and don't forget to hit the notification bell, as this will just alert you every time I upload a new video. So until next time,